You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Welcome. It's Monday night, October 1st, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio. My name is Georgia. Hi, everybody. I'm here in the studio with my lovely co-host,
Howard Stern.
Diesel, DJ Diesel. If you can't see him, we'll move the camera. He's a little shy. But today is October 1st, which means it's the first Monday in October. And as you know, the first Monday is always Glass Monday with our friends from Mad Hatter Smoke Shop. So I'm sitting here with Johnonymous. Say hi, John.
Hola, y'all.
No, I said say hi, John.
Hi, John.
There we go. And of course, producer Chris, what up?
Chris, what up?
What's up?
What's up? And of course, Sam's in the studio as well. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So we've got quite a fun night tonight, I have to say. Glass Monday is always fun. You'll notice that we're missing a typical Glass Monday participant. If you look around the studio, there's no one here with dreadlocks.
No.
No one's got big earrings or sleeve tattoos or Thug Life tattooed across their belly.
No.
Nobody. No, not even, well, half a sleeve. Okay, so we got half a sleeve.
Yeah.
So Paul couldn't make it tonight.
Why don't you tell everyone the reason Paul can't make it?
Because he's sitting on his couch with his dog Kazak and
What are
his
they
remote
doing?
control and a piece of glass
I'm watching football.
watching the Cowboys play the Bears.
Stop Bears.
The Bears. I hope they beat the Cowboys. I'm not a big fan of the Cowboys.
Ooh!
Ooh.
I think those are fighting words, but I don't really care either. So all I care is that...
my fiance's a Cowboys fan. So
Is she?
Yeah, I'm not. My cousin's a Cowboys fan.
So is Amy at Paul's house with Kazak watching TV?
They got
Diesel.
they got the blue jerseys.
She better not be.
She's in big trouble.
Paul would be a fun person to watch the game with, for sure.
Paul's a cool guy.
But do you guys know what October 1st is? What happened this day in history?
I know that you told me the facts, so I won't spoil it.
Spoiler.
I don't. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea.
Well, today's a pretty lousy anniversary. It's the 75th anniversary of the U.S. prohibition on marijuana.
So,
So 75 years ago, our federal government decided that it was a good idea to imprison cannabis users.
What was the name of the first guy who went to prison for cannabis use?
And where was he arrested? It's a two-part question.
Oh, man. I don't know.
He was arrested in Denver.
Yep. And it was, yeah. And what was it, 3 years in prison or something?
Samuel Caldwell.
How many years of hard labor for that? 4 years? 5 years? Something like that? I think it's 4 years of hard labor.
And it makes so much sense, doesn't it? You get it, right?
Oh, he sold 3 marijuana cigarettes.
And you know how much...
4 years of hard labor.
I bet there was sticks and stems and seeds in
I
those
bet you
marijuana
that
cigarettes.
was the shittiest pot on earth.
Oh,
From
so
Pueblo?
sad. It's
From
just-
Pueblo? No, it was in Denver. It was probably from Pueblo. Brought in by donkey.
Right?
He's from the burro from the Rio Grande Valley.
Probably smelled like burro, too.
That's right. It was brought in by a French fur trapper who traded it for some Indian blankets, and
It's probably
and by the
got
time it got here, it was just dust with sticks and seeds.
some seeds. That's right.
And
October 1st,
dust.
1937, the U.S. government criminally outlawed the possession and cultivation of cannabis, setting into motion a public policy that today results in some 850,000 arrests each year and over 20 million arrests since the mid-'60s. So wrap your brain around that, people. Wrap your brain around that.
And how many dollars in probation costs, court costs, fines,
Prison costs.
lawyer fees? How much money does? I mean,
Outrageous.
Warren, is pretty humble for an attorney. I mean, some of those bastards get loot.
Outrageous. And ironically, do you know what else today represents? What happens today today marks a day in our history.
Connecticut
Connecticut.
gets hooked the heck up, but not really.
The medical
Tell them the
marijuana.
stipulations.
That's right. The medical marijuana laws in Connecticut go into effect today. So medical marijuana patients may legally possess medical marijuana.
Woohoo!
Tricky part is they can't get it anywhere.
Shit.
Right. Right. If you remember, we've talked about this a number of times.
Yes.
Connecticut has intelligently thoughtfully placed in their law that in order to purchase, you must purchase from a pharmacist.
And a pharmacist won't touch it with a 10-foot pole because he can't sell other narcotics if he chooses to sell pot.
We'll see what happens. Right now, there is no infrastructure in any way, shape, or form for any sort of dispensing mechanism in Connecticut. But you know what? Let's focus on a little bit of good.
Catch-22.
It is a beautiful catch-22. But we just want to focus on a little bit of the positive and just say one more state is moving to the light. Moving to the light. So welcome, Connecticut.
They figured out something else to put people in jail for to fill their prisons.
Yes.
We're just going to prescribe more Oxycontins.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, the Florida approach.
My people like their prescription medications.
Woohoo! Rush Limbaugh syndrome.
Right?
Fat Republican. There you go.
I have a whole lot to say about Rush.
I got fat Republicanism. Give me some Oxycontins.
So we have to balance the good with the bad, right? Isn't that kind of how life works?
It's a yin and a yang.
It's a yin and a yang. So October 1, federal prohibition, Connecticut, legalizing medical marijuana. However, medical marijuana growers in the state of Michigan are being sent to federal prison. So 4 medical marijuana patients and caregivers will be sentenced in Michigan federal court this week, highlighting the human cost of the federal government's intolerance for state medical marijuana laws. The sentencing hearings come less than a week after another Montana medical marijuana provider, Chris Williams, was similarly denied a defense and found guilty at trial. In August, Montana medical marijuana provider Richard Floor, 68, died in custody after being sentenced to 5 years in prison, despite a lack of evidence that he was in violation of any state law. So 2 medical marijuana caregivers from Monroe County, Michigan, who were convicted earlier this year, will be sentenced today, October 1st. They were sentenced in the U.S. District Court. Judge David Lawson David M. Lawson, and Jared Lee Duvall and his son Jeremy Duvall were raided by the DEA in 2011 and charged with felony cultivation, maintaining a place to cultivate marijuana, and conspiracy to distribute. In April, the Duvalls were convicted at trial and expected results of federal laws that prohibit any marijuana defense or reference to the state laws in front of the juries. So the jury never got to hear about Michigan's state laws.
But they were in state compliance.
They were, as far as I know, they were in state compliance.
Yeah, that's not exactly in the wording.
Well, the title of the article is Legal Medical Marijuana Growers Face Years in Federal Prison.
Oh, so they were legal and they had documentation, paperwork, and were within numbers, then... Well,
and I don't know enough about Michigan laws to know how clear their requirements are. And we're going to hopefully have Matt Abel from Detroit, attorney out of Detroit, next week talk about this case and these cases.
I hear it's county by county up there is how they're enforcing.
Yeah, there's some scariness. Ann Arbor, really, really scary.
That's college. College.
Yeah. So it's not good. The federal government is really cracking down, despite our president's promises that things will not be as bad, and that there's no reason to interfere with state-run medical marijuana facilities. And again, LA County has been experiencing some pretty bad crackdown, as well as 71 medical marijuana dispensaries in LA County were raided by federal authorities as part of an ongoing campaign to crack down on medical marijuana dispensaries. According to U.S. Attorney's Office, officials sent warning letters to 68 pot dispensaries, filed forfeiture lawsuits against 3 properties that house such businesses and served search warrants at 3 additional facilities. Officials said most of the pot stores, I just have to say that loudly, pot stores, were in Eagle Rock, downtown L.A., and Huntington Park. I said that they were raided. They were not raided. They received letters. Federal officials carried out the action in concert with local authorities, including the L.A. Police Department. The federal actions involve all known marijuana stores in Eagle Rock and the downtown areas of LA, as well as the single store known to be operating in Huntington Park. Last year, California's 4 U.S. attorneys announced that they were taking an aim at large-scale growers and dispensary owners who are raking in millions of dollars while falsely claiming that their medical marijuana operations comply with state laws, which does not allow for-profit sales. So they have a method to their madness. Doesn't make us feel any better. Still feels like they are targeting medical marijuana in general. So we know that, once again, the Holder memo has not rung to be true, and medical marijuana patients are suffering the consequences because of that.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about any of that. I can just
know.
go off. That's not worthy of an hour's discussion.
You know what's kind of interesting, though? We'll talk about something kind of interesting. I mean, that's kind of what we do here, is talk about the interesting.
Yeah.
Huffington Post today gave the 9 signs that marijuana legalization is coming soon. Do you want to know what the 9 signs are?
Yes, I do. Yes.
9 signs.
Number 9.
When even a federal judge appointed by Ronald Reagan calls the criminalization of marijuana, quote unquote, absurd, you know you've come a long way from just say no. As many as 3 states could vote to legalize marijuana this November, not just for medical purposes, but for straight up getting high purposes.
Yeah. For being an adult.
For being an adult. There's always the chance they'll chicken out like California voters did in 2010.
That was sabotaged by the large-scale crazy bastard growers.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I know exactly what happened. That was a coup by the... Yeah, your average Joe pothead didn't get a say in that. That was shut down by people who were millionaires paying off cops for the last 50 years or whatever.
And so people were worried about their personal bottom line and therefore didn't want to
Absolutely. What would you do if your entire livelihood and the livelihood of probably hundreds of people who grow on your property, and I mean, this isn't including, I mean, there's so much crazy shit that goes on in Northern California and, you know, that whole area up into Washington that, and every bit of, I mean, goddamn, you have satellite cameras that can see if you're picking your nose. I mean, they can tell if there's 500,000 pot plants growing in a valley. I think that was just a move by everybody who was employed by the pot industry to keep it illegal so they could keep the price up. Yeah. It has to be what happened because, I mean, the entire culture, every single TV show's got people getting high. I mean, it's accepted culture out there, you know.
Well, it's so interesting because the medical marijuana industry in particular gets a bad rap for people for a couple of reasons. But the main reason is people say you're all hunting for the profit. It's all about the bottom line and it's not about the patients.
How many of these have gone out of business in the last year?
A shit ton.
Yeah. There's your profit, people. Ha ha. These fail constantly. And that's bringing in outside consultation. You know, it's a boom or bust society. You know, you watch the wholesale price of the stuff go as soon as, you know, the last year, the wholesale price in the dispensary game has gone down like $500, if not more.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was an overabundance because there was all these people who got into it. And then when people don't want to buy it because it's either inferior or anything else like that, they have to drop it at bottom basement prices, which tank the market in this town.
Well, if you add regulation on top of that, and the people who actually took the rules very seriously, it's costly. It's costly to make sure that you're following all those rules, so that your security is up to date. How much does ventilation
cost and air conditioning to? I mean, people don't understand how hot a 1,000-watt ballast gets, or a 1,000-watt bulb that's usually on a freaking light pole. These things are on in stadiums, and they're sitting above these plants to replicate daylight conditions. I mean, every 40-watt or every 1,000-watt bulb you run, I mean, let's think of industrial rates. It costs you probably, $20 for every 1,000-watt bulb before you pay to cool it, before you pay all the water.
And the number of hours that bulb is on. And
the lifespan of just a bulb. I mean, goddamn, they're $100 if you go to anywhere. You can open any Denver counterculture magazine, and there's 70 ads. The cheapest
People
you
are
can
selling
get.
their used bulbs. That's really funny.
Yeah, well, that's
Buy my used
because
bulb.
the sons of bitches are expensive.
That's
It's
right.
just it's a silly thing not to try to sell something and get money out of it that still has some kind of productive use to the next user.
Absolutely. All right, so back to the 9 signs that marijuana legalization is coming
Brrr,
soon.
Number 8.
50% of Americans now favor legalizing marijuana.
We're
I mean-
almost to democracy rule.
Almost. We're close.
Almost 51% is all we need, and we're gonna hang all the politicians.
That's right. Okay, legalization is up for a vote this fall in Colorado, Oregon, and Washington. And both Colorado and Washington, according to the HuffPo, look pretty good.
Who wants to be the number 1 tourist destination on Earth? That's what that.
You know, the big argument, I mean, if you've been reading Ken Buck's editorials and his opinion on being anti-64, one of the biggest arguments they have is they don't want to be the world pot capital of the United States.
So
pot
you
capital
don't
of
want
world.
you don't want the least violence on Earth. You don't want the most money for your wait staff at every restaurant on Earth.
No.
It's just silly to think that there are any negatives to this. You want to quit people dying in DUI crashes. Amen.
Well, I mean,
there it is
there's
right there.
There's something there's some kind of stigma that people are assuming is associated with people using a plant. And
Well, barbershops are going to go out of business because everybody will start growing their hair out. You know, I mean,
right.
he's obviously part of the barbershop lobby.
That's right. That's right. We're going to take a break, and then we'll come back with the rest of the 9 signs marijuana legalization is coming soon, and then we'll look at some pretty glass. So thanks so much to Nodo Urban Garden Supply. You've got to go visit them. They're at 1330 27th Street in Denver, Colorado. That's about 4.5 blocks northeast of Coors Field and about 1.5 blocks northeast of Mad Hatter Smoke Shop, Walnut Street.
It's a half a block northeast.
It's a 1/2 block northeast.
It's right by MMD.
It's right by MMD of Colorado. You're right.
Yep, it's halfway between MMD and Larimer Lounge.
It is.
You
It
can
is.
throw a rock and hit either one of them.
I can spit that far.
Yep, you can actually hear the meadowlark people farting.
You can.
From
Can't
the door
smell
of
it,
the
though, because
no-do.
we smell the corned beef from across the street.
I know. Sometimes it smells good, and sometimes it smells kind of gross.
Yeah. They are. They can carry all of your garden supply needs, whether you are a hobby cultivationist or a commercial grower. They
Get your perlite.
had a friends call Levi at Nodo Urban Garden Supply. They're open Monday through Saturday. Feel free to stop by their website, www.nodourbangardensupply.com. And don't forget they have free compost tea for all their customers. You know what compost tea is. It's the wonderful liquid that will work magic on all of your plants.
Yep, it's not as good if you drink it.
No, don't drink. It will not wake you up in the morning. No, no, no.
It will. It'll make you throw up.
Make sure you ask Levi or Kat if she's working what the best use of the compost tea is for your particular plant situation, and they'll be happy to help you out. That's Nodo Urban Garden Supply at 1330 27th Street between Larimer and Walnut. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. I'm Georgia, and we'll be right back.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding, Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. My name is Georgia, and of course, we've been talking to Janonymous and Sam and
Or
Chris. Because we read a little something on the Huffington Post about the 9 signs of that marijuana legalization is coming soon. Soon. So we just said 50% of Americans now favor legalization. We talked about that legalization is up for a vote in 3 states. The Next sign that marijuana legalization is coming soon.
Number 7.
Last year, the gold-plated Global Commission on Drug Policy, which includes several former Latin American presidents and big shots like former U.S. Secretary of State George Shultz, former Federal Reserve Chairman Paul Volcker, called on governments to, quote, break the taboo and consider alternatives to the criminalization of drugs. Pretty big damn deal.
I want to comment on this. All right, you look at Paul Volcker. Who do you think banks all that drug money that they can't spend is in?
Who?
Paul Volcker's banks. World Bank and all those. Yeah, that's the ones who pirate all the damn money.
Right.
And so all your guys down in Colombia and whatnot who have been running a shadow backdoor operation the whole time, and they have all their money in all these crazy accounts all over the world, maybe they want to spend it now.
Well, you know, it's just interesting that people who have spent their careers.
Because this is not marijuana related. This is all cocaine.
Well, and that is the difference that they're talking about
Yeah, that's different.
drug issues in general.
Yeah.
That decriminalizing drugs in general.
Yeah. But they've already cornered the market on several of these drugs.
but now they're kind of taking a step back and recognizing that maybe their policies aren't working.
No, they want to spend all the goddamn money they have hidden out in these secret accounts.
Fabulous. And it's not working.
Yeah, it's not working.
It's not working.
But it's a double-edged sword. It's like we want to fight for, it's ignorant to lock people up who want to recreationally do something unless they act violently against their neighbor. That's kind of a libertarian thought pattern.
I think actually that's true that libertarians believe that. I think that's also pretty humanistic too.
It's very humanistic, but that's the whole let unto others as you'd have unto yourself. If you're drunk out in the middle of a field acting the fool and you don't hurt anybody else, hell yeah, have at it.
You want to talk about prostitution?
Yeah. If there's 2 willing participants, go out where I don't have to see you and go have your little time. I don't care.
Right.
I'm not going to go out and do that, so I ain't worried about that.
And this show is absolutely predicated on that personal freedom philosophy. And maybe Volcker is too.
Maybe Volcker wants to spend a whole bunch of billions of dollars he's got locked up in a goddamn account.
That could be too.
He's a sneaky bastard. Don't listen to any of that AP news. That stuff's all trash.
So our friend John, Big John, is listening to the show tonight, and Big John doesn't have a Volcker amount of money to spend, and so what we need to do to give to Big John is a little shout out.
What up, Big John at the Mad Hatter at 2615 Walnut Street? I hope you are chilling and having a great night. You hanging out with Biggie Smalls?
He also said that anyone who comes in between now and the end of the show gets 30% off.
Hell yeah, go in there right now. You can get hooked the hell up. It's only up until 8.
So hurry up.
Yeah, you better be already in the car.
Okay, he didn't say that. I said that, but I knew he'd be okay with it.
I
Biggie
guess
Smalls wants a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
If you bring Biggie Smalls a cheeseburger, everyone will love you.
Exactly.
Next on our list, according to Gallup, at least 70% of Americans now support legalization of marijuana for medical use. 70%, according to Gallup. And the 30%, those people, okay.
Yeah, well, when they have cancer and they're sitting there puking their guts out, maybe their opinion will change.
Right.
It's only a couple of years until one of these crappy genetically modified somethings gives them a cancer of something, and they're going to need something to ease their pain. And they're going to turn the natural, holistic way, and it's going to...
We've talked about that a whole bunch of times. There are more stories than we can possibly count about people who haven't thought twice about marijuana in any fashion until they got sick or a loved one got sick.
When you see somebody who's 65 plus years old try it for the first time and start crying and be like, they lied to me all these years, then that changes everything.
Right.
Like you'll start crying yourself. You'll be like, holy shit.
Yep.
It's like, man, I'm glad I got turned on to this when I was a little bit younger so that I knew that this, pain medication, I haven't eaten a pain pill in 10 plus years, and I don't need to.
Right.
It's not necessary. If I get hurt, I'll just sit back and be hurt and take my mind off of being hurt.
I took ibuprofen
while I can
after
still
my marathon,
function.
I'll tell you that. I did. I took some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
I admit it.
I mean, yeah, there's certain things that, a headache, I'll take an acetaminophen like once in a year.
Yeah, I hate to do that.
Yeah.
I hate to do that.
But
so, yeah, 70% of Americans. That's pretty amazing. Next, ready?
6.
2 state governors Rhode Island and Oregon filed a petition with the federal government last year to reclassify marijuana to allow for medical use.
I believe we were on their heels on that one.
See, this year, Chafee, a Republican, signed a law decriminalizing the possession of small amounts of marijuana in Oregon. Hot damn. I mean, definitely moving in a pretty radical direction as far as
Decriminalization is if you don't have a truckload, let me go.
Right. And Denver treats small possession.
Yeah, but
like
they're still
less than a traffic ticket.
Yeah, but they're still making something out of you.
They are. No, that's it's
you
not
are
enough.
paying the
That's
system.
right.
You are
That's
paying
right.
your tax to be in compliance with, and you're not in compliance. But they have accounted for that and charged you the hey dumbass, you got caught tax.
Right. That's right. Yep. It's
That's
not
all.
enough.
I mean, that's all policy is. Policing is policy, and that's all. It's all generation of income. Who sees the end result of that dollar from that traffic stop that resulted in that possession of marijuana charge?
Well, and therein lies this issue that we've been fighting. So we talked earlier about the billions of dollars that are spent on court costs and prison costs
Legalized
and probation
extortion.
costs. All of those things for these nonviolent offenders who have small possession charges.
I mean, you get caught out of state with here's a particular really crazy thing.
Here's a really crazy thing.
Concentrates. Get caught out of Colorado with any kind of concentrates, you face a felony.
You're right.
Class 3 felony. How much legal fees to get out of that? I mean, a minimum of about $8,000, depending on the severity and the amount. I mean, you're talking like under an ounce of something like a solvent wax. Holy hell. That's like, I'm at the point now where it's like, I'm not leaving the state.
Ever.
Yeah. I mean, because why do I want to go to some hillbilly place? I mean, there's hillbilly places from the north to the south to the east to the west, and be in some environment where I can't even relax because I'm denied my medication.
Right. Right. I mean, I know people who haven't gone to see their families because they don't want to leave their state.
Come visit me.
Right.
We have a different attitude here. Everyone who comes here, like my perfect example, Big John's mom came from Kentucky, and she spent a week here. And when she went back, she was appalled by the way people were talking about pot, like on the news and stuff. And she was like, "This is just ridiculous." Everyone I ran into is just completely calm and had their shit together.
The world did not end. There was no apocalypse when medical marijuana.
14 went through.
Well, when Amendment 20 passed, and then in 2009, when the Holder Memo came out, and medical marijuana centers exploded in Colorado, the world did not end. Children did not disappear because of some drug-induced crazy person. I mean, nothing happened.
Nothing.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not true. Something really important happened.
People started going to sleep earlier.
Tax revenue was generated. People got jobs.
Yeah.
Warehouses that hadn't been rented in eons were occupied for 10-year leases. If you just want to talk about the help that the state of Colorado has received in a time of economic crisis, look at the numbers.
Yeah. And this is fighting lobbies too. I mean, do you think Pete Coors wants pot being, fully legal?
You think Pete Coors has ever smoked pot?
I'm sure look at Pete Coors. He's a closet hippie.
Then he's a hypocrite.
But he's a hypocrite. Yes, of course. Anyone who runs $1 billion industry, they have their own. You have to protect your own in that category.
No, you don't have to. People choose to.
Of course, but that's what their mentality is. If I have, I need and I will have forever. He doesn't realize if he produced better beer that I said that out loud.
Right.
I feel the same way about New Belgium. They're the biggest microbrew in Colorado. I don't like their beer. Ha ha. I'll drink something else. There's 10 beers in this state that are wonderful.
That's right. That you can have access to.
Oh yeah, we have an unlimited. That's the same way with the dispensaries, though. You have access to every different quality and flavor of the week.
And that's the beauty of it. It's the beauty of it. You get the choice.
Yep.
Okay, where were we?
Number
8?
5. I don't know.
I think we're 8s.
Working backwards.
Facing, no, I just said that. No, I didn't. Facing mounting public pressure in September 2011, New York Police Commissioner Ray Kelly ordered all NYPD officers to stop charging people with misdemeanor marijuana violations based on improper searches. Okay, another sign that marijuana legalization is coming soon.
What do you think the actual change was in the numbers in the police office?
Well, all of a sudden it wasn't improper searches. they made sure that their searches were valid, is my guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had a terrible track record of being minority racially profiling in the last 3 years too.
Driving while black.
DWB, don't do it.
Yep.
Get a cab.
It's true, and it happens, and it's not something to make fun of. It's one of those things that if we don't talk about it, if we don't say that racial profiling exists and we give examples of it, I mean, we have a friend who got charged with driving while black just last week.
Yes, he did.
And he happens to be a very, very large, intimidating looking man who also happens to be black.
Yep, and happens to like heavy metal music instead of rap and hip hop and all that.
Maybe he has a nose ring.
Yep. Maybe he usually has a mohawk.
Maybe he has a mohawk.
But he did get pulled over in a notoriously shitty neighborhood in Denver, Colorado to ever try to be pulled over in, which is over there by Lakeview, or what is it? The amusement park? Lakeside Amusement Park. That whole area, 44th and all that, has criminal police doing criminal things in order to generate shitty revenue for their lame-ass 9-block radius jurisdiction. In my opinion.
In John's opinion.
Yes, that was me. I don't drive through there anymore. Ha ha.
I live right by there. I concur.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen it. That is complete BS.
Yeah, my fiance got a ticket because their windows were too tinted.
Yeah, too tinted, or you have a little tiny crack on your windshield, or you have a brake light out. They'll pull you over for something, and they're just looking to bust you for something else.
In my opinion. Number 1.
Stated.
Sign. The marijuana legalization is coming soon. Gary Johnson, presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party, is all about full legalization.
Which we just had this talk earlier. Do you vote your conscience or do you vote lesser of two evils?
And we'll talk about that probably after the break, after we do some glass. We'll have to start a little discussion.
Dun, 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 dun,
so we're going to take a quick break before we see some of the beautiful pieces that Janonymous has brought from Mad Hatter Smoke Shop. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. Our sponsors include Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, your mountain source for meds, located in Frisco, Colorado, off of exit 203. Our friends Jerry and Aaron are always in the store, so make sure when you go up to do some leaf peeping pre-ski season that you hop on in there and you tell them that you heard about...
Leaf peeping. I dig that.
That you heard about them on iCannabis Radio. They have a wonderful strain selection, which you can check out on their website, which is mmrockies.com. They also have a pretty extensive... immature plant or clone selection that's also available on their website. You can also give them a ring and ask what they've got on their shelves. They're a wonderful MMC up in Frisco, Colorado. Make sure that you stop by and see Jerry and Aaron at Medical Marijuana of the Rockies. You've been listening to iCannabis Radio with Janonymous doing Glass Monday. We'll be right back.
Trouble with the law? Or maybe you're looking to start a medical marijuana business? The law firm of Edson, Mayton & Matz can help. Attorneys Warren Edson, Lauren Mayton, and Chris Matz offer a wide range of criminal defense-related assistance and cannabis legal services. Call the team of legal professionals ready to help you or your business out today. 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or check out the website, warrenedson.com. That's warrenedson.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Office?
Welcome back. Yeah. Welcome back. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. We are here with Janonymous, and we have just one quick thing before we get into our glass pieces. I know you guys are excited, but, I wanted to say that we had another cannabis user come out of the closet this week. And it's going to come as a crazy surprise to all of you.
Rosanna Donna.
Roseanne Barr smokes pot. Shocked?
Anybody?
Anybody shocked?
No.
So what did you say, John, when I brought this story up to you?
I said that's why she quit being on the air, because she became less exciting because she became more sane.
Yeah, she used to be pretty
Erratic behavior,
eccentric, interesting,
bitchy,
a little crazy,
assholey,
funny, really, really funny.
She could be,
but I think some cannabis. She got her endocannabinoid system in check and has now chilled out and is open about her cannabis use, which God love her.
Well, she needs to come in and get herself a new badass piece of the Mad Hatter.
That's a great idea. So what did you bring for us today?
I brought just some like mini stuff that we got in this last week or so. So I was just going to show off a couple of small concentrate pieces. Everybody's still kind of heavy on the concentrate kick. So I've got 2 mini Damien rigs. I got one that's fairly plain with the slime accents. This one's got a handmade joint. Oh, why are you pointing that at me? Has it been pointing at me this whole time?
Yes, it has. 'Cause I thought you were going to bring it towards you.
A what?
You're good.
All right.
You're good.
All right. So anyways, this is a little mini rig. It's got a small diffuser down here with a sealed bottom, so it keeps the splash to a minimum, which is a real problem with miniature glass pieces that are water-bearing pieces. So this one right here, the dome, instead of having a machine joint, some people have gone to making their own joint off of a graphite mold. It keeps your concentrate from making your joint so sticky that you can't pull it off. So a lot of people are enjoying that weird, it's kind of a 50-50 whether or not you're going to see that on pieces anymore. But I like it actually that way. So that was the first piece. And this right here.
Who made that one?
My buddy Damien.
Nice.
Who, he's not the spawn of Satan or anything like that. This is another one he made.
His mom just thought he might be.
Yeah, exactly. Their daughter's name's Lilith.
Nice.
Anyways.
That's really pretty. I love those colors with the slime and everything.
You got the slime with the rainbow on white pattern.
This is a test. Chris, what's the slime? Quick. What's the slime? Quick, what's the slime?
Green.
Okay, good.
All right.
He's been listening month after month after month after month.
It's beautiful.
These are really fun. The dabber, the dome, and the piece itself all have opal chips that have been encapsulated into clear glass.
Can you bring that closer to the camera so they can see the opal chip?
Try.
There we go.
That's a good one. That's a pretty
Stop
piece.
there.
You could see the opal actually.
Oh,
right
look at
now.
it. It's so iridescent.
Yeah, you
So
could see it.
Try to hold still.
if you'd quit with the caffeine, you wouldn't be shaking like a leaf.
That was the beer, I swear. I thought I counteracted it.
That's really neat. Those colors are amazing.
Yeah.
How do they do that swirl piece part?
The swirl part?
Yeah.
This is actually hollow tubing.
Okay.
Even the dabbers, it's actually hollow. Because if you make a solid piece that's in, or like if you collapse tubing, or if you leave it with a air inside it, when you seal it up, as it's cooling down, the air's trying to get the hell out of there, and it a lot of times cracks the piece.
Okay.
So this one's actually got a little hole right there that's kind of disguised in the white on your dabber, so people don't see that. But I'll let you know it's there. I'm not trying to fool anybody. Same thing with this. It's in the back of the piece there. You can barely see that little pinhole. So they always try to put it where it's disguisable, but that's really cool, huh?
Well made too.
Yep. And it's on a little 14mm joint. That one's a German joint. Pretty cool piece.
Glass on glass.
Yep, it's all glass on glass. And it's got the same just baby little hole diffuser in it, which surprisingly you can put water in them and rip them and not get a drink, which...
So how much water goes in there? Like how much do you fill it up?
You can see holes in the side as you're filling it. And as long as you cover those holes, you're going to be diffusing.
It's a beautiful piece. What's that run?
The whole set with the dabber, the piece is like $230.
Excellent.
And the little one's like $130 something, without all the extra fun stuff. Here's another real simple piece. This one's not locally produced. This is a California piece, but this is a black sheep. It's got a little disc diffuser in it. Real basic, bub. Comes with a fairly cheesy glass nail. But this is a real nice budget piece. It's only $120 for a nice little ripper. So
It's really pretty. What size is the? Yeah.
that's a 19 mil dome. That's a bigger dome.
And what's the advantage of having the bigger dome?
A lot of there's less drag on it sometimes. Depending on the nail you put in it, actually determines how much drag you're going to have.
Do you prefer a smaller or a larger dome?
I think I like the 18.8 better.
Okay.
Well, 19 mil, whatever you want to call it.
So that.
Yep, I would prefer the bigger one, depending on the size of the piece. I mean, it looks out of place on one of these really tiny.
Sure,
ones.
sure.
It looks,
but it would work if. It
oh
would
yeah, it would work. It's just.
Show what the big dome looks like on the little.
I'll just take this one. This one's got the same. That's the smaller 14 size there.
And you can buy just the dome at Mad Hatter's.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It just depends on what you're looking for. We have a constantly revolving section of domes. Most people just want something that's fairly basic to convert their water pipe to start with.
Right.
Before they start into their whole glass exploration. This is something I really like. This right here is a Big Z little mini bub. It has a fixed, so it's actually sealed to the bottom of the piece, shower head, so there's not much chance of any vibration cracking the internals of it. It's got a real nice foot. It's super chunky and heavy. It's got a double mouthpiece with attachments at 2 points. That allows for kind of a recirculation and keeps you from drinking the water.
That's the coolest foot maybe I've ever seen. I love how wide it is. I love how chunky the bottom is.
Yeah. Big Z's pretty famous on the scene right now. He is the man.
I think it's beautiful.
He makes these crazy robots that look like Transformer robots. They're like this big and about this wide, all with guns, ray guns and stuff.
Nice.
It's like a $20,000 piece, right?
I don't think he charges. He doesn't charge as much as some people. I think you probably get one for about $5 or $6 grand. You can get a pretty rad robot.
I thought I seen one. It was like Bumblebee.
Oh, that's Banjo.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Banjo's. He's on an entirely different planet.
That was a ridiculous
He makes
piece.
the Boba Fett masks and the Darth Vader masks that are completely symmetrical and perfect. Yeah.
Gosh, how many hours could that possibly take?
More than I'd like to sit around and watch.
Right?
And more than I'd like to participate in with that. If anything goes wrong, you lose days.
Well, that's always the conversation we seem to come back to when we talk about the price of these pieces is that, you know, you're not only paying for the cost of the glass, but the cost of the pieces that went wrong in making the glass.
Yeah, and I mean, all these perks and stuff, that's all experimental. Have you been over to Swagger then?
Oh, my gosh.
No, I haven't.
You haven't. Have you ever been to a glass shop?
Like
Yours.
I've been to glass shops.
But like where they're blonde glass?
Yeah, I actually have a friend that has that.
Is there a shit ton of pieces off to the side that are fucked up? Yeah, that's because that happens all day, every day. You know, somebody might bump you and I've been working on that for half an hour. Crap, you know, you don't get that half an hour back.
Right.
People, you know, that's the thing with like production workers that make, you know, spoons all day. That's a whole different thing. I mean, you're just cranking that kind of stuff out. If you're working on a bigger piece, god damn, this stuff, you know, one little thing and it's not right, it can't go out the door.
Yeah.
Like it can't be sold as what you want it to be sold as. It's a second at that point where you're trying to hustle it off to a friend.
Right.
Poor Tim Martin, you know, selling swagger seconds on the Facebook, you know.
And he's doing great and he's loving his job and
I'm proud as hell of Tim.
Me too.
Good job, Tim.
Me too.
I didn't think he was gonna stick with it, and he has, and that's awesome.
And he seems to love it. It's good to do what you're passionate about.
Yeah. Here's another. This is the new basic Halen Big Z. It's in a 32 mil. It comes with. They're doing them with the little wigwag sections.
I love that.
Dome here.
Love the wigwags.
Yep, wigwags are the coolest. They would call this a fire ice fade. You got the fire pattern into the ice pattern. And then the other side of the stack is this amber purple. You can see these little baby lines in it here. That actually would change amazing colors if it wasn't kept clean. But most people keep their rig pretty clean. So
I mean, that's just beautiful, and how the colors just match so nicely with the top.
And the downstem on this one's slitted and gridded, which means it has slits in it that have had tags of clear put back in to make it gridded at the base of the downstem. They're also going to start making these in a little baby shower head similar to that big Z piece, and those are going to be pretty fun too.
So what does that run?
Like $2.25.
So none of these are crazy expensive.
No. I mean, I don't think we brought anything in here that's much over $1,000 ever.
No.
Well, just when we're showing stuff off.
Yeah. But I mean, the whole consumer market, I think, is pretty comfortable up to about $500-600, and then it's like after that you're searching for a specific artist with certain work, and I want this color, and and you're gonna go searching for that. These right here are very affordable pieces that you can just walk in and say, hey, that's cool. Oh, damn, it's not really that expensive, And
it'll last if you take good care of it.
Oh, yeah, like this big Z piece right here, this is, on the shelf, it's $2.99. And this one actually comes with the flower bowl. We have some other ones that have domes. And the dome ones actually come with the quartz nail, too, at $2.99. So if anybody's out there interested.
So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and I want to talk a little bit about how you guys walk someone through buying their first rig. You talked about converting their bubbler with and sort of how that happens for folks. So we're going to take a little bit of a break. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. I'm Georgia, and we're on with Genonymous, and we will be back in a minute.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706. Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. runongrass.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
We're good. We're back. I'm Georgia. You're listening to iCannabis Radio, and we've had several glass pieces that John brought in from Mad Hatter Smoke Shop, located at 2615 Walnut Street in Denver.
Next to MMD.
Next to MMD of Colorado, and their first location is located at
6091 West Colfax in Lakewood.
And that's West Colfax.
West, like Colfax out there by Casa Bonita.
Which we have to hurry up and go there.
You have to hurry up and go there.
No, we're all gonna go.
I'm gonna go.
We're gonna take Gavin. He's never been.
Well, he needs to go, but I don't.
We all do. Yes. There's all these shaking of the heads. Come on.
The we and the royal we sins?
No, the we and the all of us. It'll be a good time.
Oh, and the George is paying.
Heard the food's not that good.
Yeah, but we're not going for the food.
The funniest thing you could ever read is the Google reviews.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious.
Of Casa Bonita, and what people write is it's comedy gold. Like Tosh Point could have a whole episode on that.
And it doesn't matter because Casa Bonita kills it. Absolutely kills it.
Yeah.
People are in there all the time.
Thank you, South Park.
Right. They do have good margaritas.
Casa Bonita. Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Oh my
good.
gosh, your career is going to go in a totally different direction.
You're going to be doing Cartman voiceovers for the rest of your life.
We almost named our son Ike. Don't kick the baby. Because when I was pregnant, that's what we called him, and we couldn't think of anything else. And when he was born, we're finally like, are we just going to call him Ike? Well, we didn't, obviously.
Poor Gavin, though.
Anyway, back to the topic at hand. We're so easily distracted. Because then we need to talk a little bit more politics.
Oh, no.
Because you're fired up. You've had some caffeine and some
That's
sugar.
right. Coca-Cola. I had my sodium and my carbs.
Right? And then your red dye number, whatever.
But it's caramel coloring.
Caramel coloring.
It's
Battery
phosphoric
cleaner.
acid, it's all the good shit.
What's that?
Battery acid cleaner.
Yeah, and it cleans. Is it true? Have you ever tried to clean your toilet bowl with Coca-Cola products?
Do you know what the pH of this is? It's under 3.
Really?
Yeah. This is acidic as not as hydrochloric or something like that, but it's definitely as most toilet bowl cleaners.
Well, I'm going to try it.
Hell
I just
yeah.
have to buy some first.
You should do it.
What? Okay, so walk us through when you have a newbie come into the store and they say, I want to get my first concentrate piece. What is the conversation that you and John have with them, and Jenny and Heather and Big John and Paul?
Yep. We usually will, you kind of develop an idea of what size of piece, like if they want to be able to carry this thing outside of the house, or if they, how involved they want to be. Because you can go from everything from like a health stone all the way up to, I've got a quartz piece here, which is a honey hole.
Hang on.
Which converts any glass-on-glass water pipe that's 14 mil. Whoops, here we go. This is actually all made of quartz, even the joint itself. I mean, the wholesale cost in the joint is almost $30. So by the time you work tubing, which is extremely expensive, with hydrogen gas, which is extremely dangerous.
Yeah.
It's really fun, You can have a Hindenburg explosion in the middle of your shop.
Ugh.
But
Has that happened?
I don't know about anybody having an accident with hydrogen.
Oh,
yet.
good.
I know that Steve Bates, a couple weeks ago, made a flamethrower out of glass that all the cylinders full of butane are actually on the piece.
What?
And you can walk around with it.
I think that's a bad idea. He didn't ask me.
Oh no, he just won a flame off with it. Him and Worm just killed it. Those guys are Denver guys. They just won the big flame off up there in Wisconsin.
Well, that's lucky.
Oh, I don't think it's lucky. I think that's skill. Those guys do some pretty ridiculous work. So
you have a conversation where you kind of ask people what they want out of their piece. If they want it to be an at-home piece, if they want it to be a little bit more portable.
right, anything from something that's mini all the way to we've got big huge pieces. Someone already has an idea in their mind when they walk through that door what they're looking for.
Because their roommate's girlfriend has one. Their
Something
brothers
along those lines. There's always a story behind it.
Usually
I
wanna
saw
get it
this.
better
I
than
saw
them,
this
too.
on YouTube.
Right.
I saw this on iCannabis Radio. No.
My friend has this one, and I want to show him up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So can I have a size bigger?
Yep. It's the penis syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. My Ferrari's bigger than your Ferrari.
Well, and it's interesting because
Four-wheel drive.
because people do bring their oil rigs out with them. They have big cases for them.
Well, you've got because you have private parties and rules that protect patients if they're at private gatherings. People feel more comfortable about taking their relaxation devices into public.
Yeah.
And and as far as I can see, the attitude of most law enforcement is very lax when it comes to locally, is fairly lax when it comes to enforcement. They've got way crazier stuff going on. This is a metropolitan city. Why in the hell are you gonna bust some kid and take yourself off the beat, running them into anywhere?
Well, people tend in Colorado, I think, to be smarter because I think they are really thankful of the fact that they get to use their medicine legally, and
Right.
so they're
not
follow the
out
rules.
they're not out trying to be too obnoxious. I
Right.
mean, the most obnoxious thing you're going to see is the 420 events, and no one gets in fights or gets hurt.
Right. Right.
But keep that very quiet. Don't
Right.
let the rest of the
Let's
world
not talk
know
about how
that.
peaceful it is.
Food trucks make a lot of
Food
money.
trucks get paid.
They
Oh,
kill
yeah.
it.
They
So
should.
you have these conversations with people, and at both stores, do you feel like you have sort of starter pieces fit for all different needs?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna buy an oil rig, they start out somewhere in the neighborhood of $100, and that's pretty much everything we've got is American made. So that's you're paying a premium over what you would buy. I mean, you go to the trade shows now; it's all been knocked off already by the importers.
Wow.
So I can go to one of these cheesy shops that sells, I'm not going to call anybody out, but there are plenty of them that sell these little cheesy pipes that they break in a couple months or whatever.
And you have to keep replacing
but somebody's
them.
out $20 on something like a concentrate, like the flip spoon type stuff. Most of those are imported now, and they're $20 in a store. But they don't know that these guys are going and getting them for $2 from China and charge them $20.
Right.
Whereas that we don't carry a flip spoon because there's no way an American can make that same product and keep it at a price where it's comfortable when you have an import piece at this,
Right.
similar piece that is way more money.
Aside from the obvious why it's an advantage to buy American, what are some other reasons aside from the fact that you want to purchase an American product? What are some of the advantages?
The advantages of buying American? Well, first of all, you're supporting your local people.
In addition to that,
you're getting fresher colors and all the. I mean, this is where the technology originates, right here. Colorado. I mean, none of this stuff existed except for in Colorado and a couple of shops on the West Coast 3 years ago.
wow.
There was none of this stuff was made by any kind of importer. They never saw this before. Do you think Yang Zhu Chang over in Gundai province? That's a real place.
Yes.
In China is he not the guy, but the place is pretty much real. But those people are making $10 a day if they're the best person in the entire shop. They're
Right.
making $2 a day if they're the scrub. And they're dying every other day. One of them's dying off because they have no ventilation and all the fume that they spray in all these inside-out pipes and stuff.
Right.
It kills people. That's why if we had opened a studio in Denver, like our studio that we're planning on maybe one day opening at the shop, ventilation alone is going to cost us at least $10,000
Wow.
just to stay within accordance with city regulation.
That's great. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
But
it's
when you look at it from an American glassblowing standpoint versus a production shop.
Right.
I mean, if you look at videos from India of guys blowing glass, they've got a homemade torch. They're sitting like Lotus style with this torch coming out of mud because they bury all their lines under the mud to keep them from getting caught on fire.
wow.
So they sit there with their crazy calloused feet with the tube, and they blow the glass right there.
Wow.
And do the whole thing, and it's out in the open in a field, with like maybe a canopy over them, like a tarp. But that's what the Americans who are trying to, you've got a great torch, you spend, some of these torches are $6,000
Right.
for a piece of torch that's size of this cup on a base, $6,000.
And tell me about the quality difference too.
Well, like we were having that talk earlier about first and seconds.
Yes.
If you're buying a first piece of glass, I mean, you have to realize that, first of all, like these all have artwork in them. So you're not going to see any tube come out of China with that purple in it right there. They will never make a wigwag pattern with amber purple against fire and ice.
Right.
It just costs too much. Mm-hmm. Like the color itself, I mean, that's $60 a pound plus the wigwag pattern. That's like $75 a pound once it's pulled down. That's an inhibited cost when you're sitting over there shipping the colors from American companies because China can't replicate all this because this is actual chemistry involved. So none of them have got the experiment. I mean, these guys have been working on a lot of these colors for 15, 20 years.
Right.
Just trying to get the alchemical, the chemical mixture of solids versus the silicate glass right so they can get the color out of it while still making it stable enough that when it heats and cools, it won't crack. Which, when you look at the unobtainiums and all these obtainiums and all these different colors that came out for the last 10 years, if you're using a color that's not stable and you make the best piece on earth and it comes out of the kiln and 2 days later it's sitting on a table and it just it's
worth nothing.
Got 3 or 4 days in it.
Right.
Pissed off.
Yeah. and who can you bitch at? That's the only person you can call is the person who's your lifeblood because they're one of 3 companies on the planet who makes color for these pipes.
Right.
And there's a couple more small companies now, but at one point there was like 3 big companies that were making color. And at one time, there was fewer than that.
Wow. So what are you going to bring for us next month? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't know I forgot I was even doing the show until this morning. You remind me.
What? I reminded you last week, and I reminded you the week before that.
Yeah,
and
I
maybe
think I stopped in and told you last week.
So that
Thank
means I forgot 5 times. And next time I will forget more.
I was going to stop in today too, but I didn't.
maybe next time we have a local glassblower come too.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Then I don't have to talk so much. You can pick at their brainium.
I'll still have you translate because they speak glassblower, and you can translate
They speak
that.
Deadlock.
Right?
They speak
Exactly.
Wookiee.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Tell everybody where your shops are located again.
we have one amazing shop at 2615 Walnut Street in downtown Denver, not far from the Coors Field. And we have a second spectacular location at 6091 West Colfax in the amazing city of Lakewood, Colorado, where some of the most interesting things in all of Denver happen, right in front.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not legal.
I know, they're so fun to watch.
It's so crazy.
It's Jerry Springer.
It's crazy.
Come enjoy Jerry Springer while checking out a really nice shop with a lot of really nice glass.
Thank you so much, as always. The show goes by so fast. Absolutely goes by so fast, don't you think?
Yeah, that hour flew by.
It does. It does. So, busy week on iCannabis Radio. We keep increasing the shows and our content, and it's just wonderful. Tomorrow is Tuesday, and you know what Tuesday means, 6:30 to 8 p.m., American Weed Realm Radio with the Stanley Brothers. Be there, be square. You know, they always have Alan Shackelford on and the folks from Can Lab. Then after that, from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m., guess what? Sexpat Radio is back after their little teeny tiny hiatus. Jenny Cush and...
That's so embarrassing. You talk about the teeny tiny...
hiatus. The teeny tiny...
Where is that located?
We're just glad they're back.
It's in
We're glad
between
they're back.
We're super glad Jenny's back. It's wonderful.
fun.
She's so fun. Wednesdays, iDab Radio from 7 to 9 p.m.
They're pretty fun, too.
They are so fun. They have some wonderful guests, and they...
It's a lot of stinky old dudes to put in a room.
It's
like the summer at the old studio, man. There's like 6-7 people shoved in that tiny room. It'd just be stinky.
It's much nicer in our new
Smell
studio.
like feet.
Those guys are not only are they really funny, and I love to hear them interact with one another. I mean, I could just watch that, but it's really educational. I mean, I have learned so much about the world of concentrates. It is really a subculture of a subculture.
Yep, you weren't concentrating before. You were just scatterbrained.
Yeah, right. They should write that down.
Oh no.
Thursday, 4:45 p.m. Our drive show. The Hemp Connoisseur does their weekly show. This is show number 3 for them. So give them a listen. It's fantastic. The Hemp Connoisseur magazine does kind of a video radio show of their magazine.
Which of them hosts that?
Jay comes and David comes and Christiana came one week, and so yeah, it's wonderful. 4 to 5 p.m.
Christiana Sales.
Christiana, pretty Christiana. Aww. And then of course from 7 to 9 p.m. is Overgrow the Radio.
Yeah.
With Stickman.
Do it.
Who, by the way, is looking for a new co-host. So if you want to give a chance, if you want to give a try, if you want to see if it's something you would enjoy, don't hesitate to contact us. And then Friday evening, by the way, the Hemp Connoisseur has been doing their own judging of medicine in Colorado, and they're going to be doing their awards ceremony Friday evening, and we're going to be doing a live broadcast, Stickman and I.
Is it Castleman's?
At Castleman's.
Yeah, I might actually walk over there.
As well you should. And then
like
next Monday, of course, is this show. Can Lab is going to be here, Chris and Jennifer, and then news from around the country. We're going to have, hopefully, our friend Matt Abel will talk about what's going on with these grower arrests in Michigan. I want to thank our sponsors, Mile High Wellness, Noto Urban Garden Supply, Edson Maton and Mats, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Medical Marijuana 101, and, of course, Run on Grass. My name's Georgia.
I'm Chris.
That's Genonymous. Sam's over there. This is iCannabis Radio, and thank you guys so much for listening. It's been great fun. Have a wonderful evening. Peace out.
Oh, I forgot this. Don't
what?